7601. carving cuttings, and yoga in the park events. Camp Collie is a 30-acre overnight outdoor adventure camp located above the Mogollon Rim. Operated by the Heart Center, the camp has provided wonderful outdoor experiences for thousands of underserved Phoenix youth by teaching respect for the environment and social emotional skills. With the Mini Grant Award, 25 children from Phoenix were sponsored to attend Camp Collie in 2025. This included 10 participants for a 3-day camp, 10 participants for a 5-day camp, and 5 participants for a 3-day counselor and training camp, a teen leadership program for 16 and 17-year-olds. With the Mini Grant Award, park rangers at the Rio Salado Habitat Restoration Area purchased equipment that, combined with GIS technology, allows users to inventory and track tree health data over time. Consistent with our citywide tree planting goals, the goal is to lower the mortality rate of both new and existing trees. Park rangers have created a tree steward program where trained volunteers use the new tools to collect data and monitor native tree growth and health. Operated by Keep Phoenix Beautiful, the community garden at Mountain View Park contains a certified monarch butterfly way station and was originally established as a respite site for seniors from Sunny Slope Senior Center. Access inside the gardens was limited for persons with mobility issues due to a lack of a paved pathway. The Mini Grant Award was used to refinish the pathway with pavers for ease of walking and those using mobility devices. Funds were also used to provide educational signage to inform visitors about the garden's plant life and the importance of monarch butterfly habitat preservation. Walk Phoenix is a key component of Fit Phoenix, a citywide health and wellness initiative aimed at improving the health of residents. Walk Phoenix infrastructure can be found in 58 city parks and include mapped routes with directional arrows and mileage markers to provide the community with an opportunity to experience the mental and physical health benefits of outdoor exercise. To maintain the visibility, functionality, and accessibility of existing walking routes, mini grant funds were used to replace 11 weathered and damaged Walk Phoenix signs in parks throughout the city. Park rangers used the Mini Grant Award to acquire essential portable equipment to conduct educational programming in our parks and preserves to promote safe outdoor recreation. Partnering with the Maricopa County Animal Control, the park rangers have hosted multiple events at urban parks to promote community education and awareness about our city's leash laws. Park rangers also organized free educational fishing events at Papagos Park. Staff will also host a month-long fishing program for teenagers to teach the fundamentals of fishing at the Desert West Community Center. Finally, park rangers at the Rio Salado Habitat Restoration Area host a variety of educational events for the community. The Mini Grant Award was used to purchase educational board games that teach participants about birds of the U.S. and migration of monarch butterflies. Recently, park rangers led a presentation at the Arizona State University Prep Academy, teaching 81 second grade students to identify differences between butterflies and moths. These games will continue to be used to enhance programs at recreation centers as hands-on tools to educate about native species. We are grateful for the Phoenix Park Foundation for supporting the department through the Mini Grant program, and we look forward to seeing the positive impacts of the 2026 Mini Grant Awards will have on our community. I'll now pass it back to President Tatro.
Janet, thank you very much. I'd like to close on maybe just a few more points. Something of a personal area that I really enjoyed, as you saw, and thank you for the lovely presentation. We're honored to work in partnership with the department and the city as well. Several years ago, we also invested in through the mini grants program and allocation for, pardon me, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago with the lifeguard training at one of our urban parks and pools, where young individuals who wanted to receive the opportunity to work as a lifeguard, sometimes their first job, did not have the financial capacity in order to pay for, I think it was the $150 licensing fee through the Red Cross from lifeguard certification. The Phoenix Parks Foundation attempted to step up, and we underwrote a significant portion of that so that these individuals would not have a barrier to opportunity and growth. So that is something that we cared very much about, especially for some of the folks in that region. This is their first opportunity for honorable work in our parks and the opportunity that provides going forward. I just pulled these numbers, so pardon me that they are not in your official deck, but I was able to calculate with our professional accounting team that over the last 6 years, Just shy of $4 million has flowed through the Phoenix Parks Foundation in order to help support the greater parks mission of our region. I'm excited about that, but I do not think it's enough. I'd like to see it tripled in the next 10 years. I would love to work more in partnership with you, with your leadership, as members of this esteemed board, our wonderful Parks Department, and the greater businesses and other groups here in the greater Phoenix metro area in order to further accelerate and advocate for our parks and our open space. So with that, I am happy to pause, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and receive any of your comments or your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. Great to see you. I'll open up the questions to any board members. No questions? You're doing an amazing job. I'd like to just go ahead.
Yeah, I have just two. I don't know what the universe looks like in other cities. How big is our foundation corpus compared to, the Houston Parks Foundation or the Philadelphia Parks Foundation, places that are, similar in size or, whatever.
Mr. Chair, members of the board member Naymark, notable to mention again, pardon me, that the foundation is a pass-through entity. We do not hold a financial corpus from an investment perspective. I would say that there are similar organizations here in the Valley writ large. I could give you something by comparison that offers this as a service. Arizona Community Foundation, while they have an endowment, they also have a portion of their work that acts as a pass-through entity, which we are designed to do. We have considered in the past being accretive to our mission and considering something like an endowment. That at present, I would not say is particularly tenable given the very significant professional overhead needed in order to professionally manage an endowment from an investment basis. It's something that we have considered though, but we have worked with the parks team and we have worked with the National Parks Associations, and we do some of that benchmarking episodic.
Well, then how about, have you looked at comparisons with other cities in terms of organizations that are like yours and how much money flow there is through them to the parks and recreation systems of those communities?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, board member Naymark, we have not spent that much institutional time, quite candidly, benchmarking that. As I want to think about how the foundation grows and has a growth mindset, I think is impact. There are a couple of things. Yes, we have to understand benchmarking in relationship to others' institutional best practices. What is the addressable market and appetite, I think, here in the greater Phoenix metro region? What's the need? And then how do we deploy that in partnership with the city and I'd say with these members of this board? So notable, and that's something I think that we would be happy to take up.
Right. I think it just helps in organization and sort of thinking about where should it head? What are its capacities and that kind of thing. Having working for an organization that's doing that kind of thing, as you have, what that's like. And then the last thing is that, first of all, you all are doing amazing things. That what seems really important to me in filling the gap is, we have on our agenda today the CIP. There's a ton of money, both for long-term capital improvements and also never enough, of course, but for day-to-day fixes and things, sort of the physical aspects of the parks. I think what you're doing, which really makes a difference, is the city doesn't have a lot of money for some of these program opportunities to activate the parks, to provide opportunities for kids to get engaged in recreation and enjoy the parks. So I would just continue to keep your focus there because that's where there's really a gap. Although the staff might say something different, I don't know, but I saw nodding, so maybe they're right. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Any other questions? Again, thank you for all the work that the Phoenix Parks Foundation does, especially enhancing the experience of visiting our parks. Look forward to working with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll go into item 4B, the Mayor's Monarch Butterfly Pledge Update.
Okay, thank you. Chair Moya, members of the board. In 2021, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego signed the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Butterfly Pledge to support monarch and pollinator habitat creation and conservation. The Office of Environmental Programs coordinates these efforts across the city. This evening, Deputy Parks and Recreation Director Jared Rogers and Environmental Programs Manager Tricia Balla from the Office of Environmental Programs will share more about the importance of pollinators in our ecosystem and provide an update on related successes across the city and in the Parks and Recreation Department. And with that, I'll hand the presentation over to Ms. Balla.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Very happy to be here to talk to you today about the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. It's a really exciting initiative that the city joined several years back, and really have to give some background and some more information on this. The Mayor's Monarch Pledge is a program created by the National Wildlife Federation. It was created many years ago, really in response to the decline of the monarch butterfly population across the United States. And regionally, of course, beyond the United States as well. Really, the monarch butterfly population has decreased by more than 90% since the late 1990s, when we had millions and millions hanging out in those great pictures you see in Mexico with all the butterflies on the trees, right, with their overwintering. And on average, it's been decreasing about 10% per year since the 1980s. Now, the reason why Phoenix gets involved in this is because we're actually on the monarch's migratory path. And so they come through Phoenix in the spring and in the fall, and some of them even may hang out here all winter long, but then they're the ultimate snowbirds. They go back up north in the summer, get away from our summer heat. But the really important part, I think, of when we're talking about monarch butterflies is yes, it's important for this particular species, but it's also important because when we help the monarch butterfly, we also help a lot of our other pollinator species as well. So one of the really interesting things about the monarch butterfly is its habit of clumping in over the winter, right? They go to certain spots in coastal California and in Mexico every year, and they kind of hang out there, and they're all together, and we know where they're going to go. And this is really helpful from an ecological perspective because we can count them. And there's not very many insect pollinators that we can count that easily. And so we really consider the monarch butterfly to be an indicator species, meaning that the stressors that it's experiencing are also the stressors that other insect pollinators are experiencing. And therefore, what's happening with the monarch butterfly population is likely happening with other pollinator populations as well. So as we see the decline in the monarch butterfly population, we are also seeing declines in other pollinators, other insect pollinators. And when we help the monarch butterfly, we also help all those other pollinators as well. Key stressors that they are experiencing are primarily habitat loss, pesticide use, and of course, changes in climate. So this brings us to the city of Phoenix and the actions that we've been taking. So in 2021, Mayor Gallego signed on to the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Pledge, which committed the city of Phoenix to taking action to help support the monarch butterfly population, and by extension, again, other pollinators. And we've renewed that pledge annually since 2021. Shortly, also after signing in 2021, Mayor Gallego proclaimed September to be Planting for Monarchs Month. And I know September, for those that I've talked to in the East Coast, feels like a weird time to talk about planting for monarchs, but we know that that's heading right into one of our key planting seasons. So it really is a month that we continue to celebrate every year with events and outreach to really get people to think about, hey, what can I put in my yard? What can I put in a pot on my patio that can help this species thrive and survive? Really an extra effort to get out to the public, because what the city does is a small piece of what can make a real impact. What really makes an impact is when all of our residents also join us and create this web of habitat resources across the city. The initial signing of this pledge in 2021 also resulted in the creation of a City of Phoenix interdepartmental working group related to the monarch butterfly, which my office leads, and there are 10, I think actually now 11 city departments that are official members of the interdepartmental working group who do really amazing work to help promote this species, to put in habitat for this species, There's so much good work going on with these departments. We also, besides those 10 or 11 departments, have other departments that just may participate on a project basis. So, for example, the City of Phoenix Police Department put in a monarch garden at the Phoenix Crime Lab, or the Phoenix Convention Center put in a monarch garden over there as well. And then, of course, we have departments like Parks and Recreation, who are a founding member of the interdepartmental working group and have such great capacity for impact and are doing such great work across the city for the monarch butterfly. The departments commit every year to actions in a 5-year, we have a 5-year rolling plan. So that we can plan ahead. Some things take more budget maybe, or require more planning, a forethought. Because there can be policy changes, there can be, adding habitat, it can be outreach. There's so many different ways that departments can commit to actions. And I got to say that I've worked on a lot of interdepartmental working groups in my time at the city, and this one has the most enthusiasm that I have ever participated in, and it's a lot of fun. So the 5-year plan is a really great tool for departments to be able to plan ahead to help support this species. And I'm going to hand it over to Jared now. He's going to talk a little bit specifically about parks.
Thank you, Tricia. And I appreciate the partnership with Tricia. And I think she's not allowed to say it, but Parks is definitely the most enthusiastic of the departments and probably the department that has the biggest impact on that. And I'm proud of the work that we've been able to do. On the screen in front of you is just pictures from some of the programming that our team has been able to take part in recently. I want to acknowledge in the audience today is Community Outreach Park Ranger Jose Gomez, who works out of Rio Salado. He's the only one with the wide brim hat and the uniform. He does an amazing job with kids. The presentation that Janice shared a few minutes ago, the picture on the left, you saw that before. I got to watch that presentation and see the excitement of these kids learning about the difference between a moth and a butterfly. We do a lot of programming with that around the month of September, but also as we come into Earth Day as well. It's a really great educational opportunity to teach people. And I'm going to do my best to talk a little bit about the life cycle of the butterfly. This won't take a long time. It's not a biology lesson, but this is the type of programming that we like to do with the kids and with others to teach them about why milkweed and why these pollinator plants are so important. So the first step of the life cycle of a monarch butterfly is it's in an egg state. It gets laid on a desert milkweed plant or other milkweed species. Typically, it's in that egg state for just a few days, 1 to 4 days or 4 to 5 days. It's a tiny little seed. It's less than 1 millimeter tall and wide. After that, it, as we all know, or most of us know, it morphs into a caterpillar. When it's born, it comes out as a caterpillar out of the egg. And it spends about 2 weeks feeding again on that milkweed plant. In a given day, that caterpillar can, it'll grow over 2,000 times its original weight. It'll consume roughly 1 full gallon of milkweed before its next state, which is, it goes into a pupate state, into a chrysalis. Most people, or a lot of people, believe that a butterfly comes out of a cocoon, but they actually come out of a chrysalis. And the chrysalis is spun from saliva, which we often refer to as silk. Once the butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, it comes out. It's got, as we know, a head, a thorax, abdomen, and wings, and antenna. And then that cycle again, after its start as a butterfly, continues again on the milkweed plant, where the monarch butterfly needs to lay its egg again. So it's really great to be involved in some of this programming. I want to share, Tricia mentioned the 5-year rolling plan. Some of the things that Parks has done on the screen is a highlight in the Parks Board report. There's more detail, but back in 2021, when it was first signed, as Tricia mentioned, we were one of the original founding departments in that and supporting departments. During that same year, we planted native milkweed. We maintained a Rio Salado way station as well. In 2022, we were involved in planting milkweed at the Ocotillo Library. In 2023, we supported citizen science through Monarch Steward programs and partnered with universities for volunteer research. Back in 2024, we integrated monarch habitat into park projects, installed habitat at Arizona Falls, also at South Mountain Park Visitor Center as we were celebrating the 100-year anniversary of South Mountain, as well as at the historical gatehouse at South Mountain Park. And also last year in 2025, we made a concentrated effort to reduce pesticide use. As you'll remember, Tricia mentioned that's one of the stressors for the monarch butterfly. And this year we'll be working with Public Works on a demonstration garden, another conversion of a pollinator planting in front of City Hall and some of the planters that you see around City Hall. We'll also be installing habitat at Highland Park, Barrios Unidos, and South Mountain Activity Complex. The department does remain committed to the Monarch Pledge, and we will continue to work with the Office of Environmental Programs. And to kind of finish it up, I just wanted Tricia an opportunity to show the outreach of the entire city efforts with these Monarch metrics.
Thank you, Jared. Parks really has done a lot of work to help support this species, so we are very appreciative of all of that. And they also do a lot to help other departments and support what other departments are doing as well, which is wonderful. So this is just a little spattering of different metrics that we compile over the years to show some of the impact that the city of Phoenix is having for this population. There are far more things that the city has done than this, but by last count, from 2021 to 2025, we've had almost 3,000 community volunteers specifically engaged in monarch plantings or invasive species removal. That is probably actually higher because we didn't, there are a couple of years where we didn't get a good metric on that. So I'm sure it's very much higher than that. We have added about 7 acres of monarch habitat on city property. Not just parks, although a lot of it on parks, but also across a lot of other departments as well, which is really great to see, including our waste transfer station, actually, too. We have distributed almost 30,000 wildflower seed packets, and I believe that Jose has brought some seed packets to share with anyone who wants to take one home as well. We have swag, so if you take one, please plant it because it doesn't do any good as seeds in a bag, right? But we, with the library, a lot of this comes from the seed library through our library system. And then of course we have parks, and we also have Office of Environmental Programs that have native seed packets that we give out. Almost over 400,000 people have been reached with the Monarch message through our various outreach efforts, whether it's through events or news media interviews and coverage, social media, things like that over the years. So we're really pleased with how the message is getting spread and garnering a lot of enthusiasm. And we also now have 7 registered monarch way stations on city-owned property that I'm aware of. This also includes property that we lease to others, like the Phoenix Zoo has one, for example. So, but really, really pleased and proud of the work that the city is doing to help support the monarch butterfly. There's still a lot to be done, but we've made a really good start. And we know that as the residents of Phoenix join in with us, that we can really make a difference for not just the monarch butterfly, but our other pollinators. And thank you very much for letting us talk to you about this really fun topic. I think we're ready for any comments or questions you might have now.
Great. Thank you for that very informative presentation. I learned a couple of things. Any questions from the board members?
I have a question.
Right.
Post wildland fire, there's usually effort to, do some type of restoration using native seed mix. Are there efforts or conversations had making sure that this milkweed seed is part of that native seed mix?
Yeah, Board Member Moya Chair Moya and Board Member Thomas, yes, we definitely do include them in our seed mix. The South Mountain Activity Complex will be done in about a month's time, and one of the final steps is that hydro seeding, and I'm happy to say that we have desert milkweed in the seed mix.
Any other questions? Great, thank you again. Next, our capital improvement projects update. I know we're all waiting on this one.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Chairman Moya.
No.
Chairman Moya, members of the board. 24 years at the city. This is my 7th department, and I've been in the Parks Department for a little over 4.5 years. And nothing brings me more joy than finishing projects around our system and seeing the community, including our youth, enjoy it. So once a year, we provide an update on our 5-year capital improvement plan. Joining us at the table is newly appointed Interim Assistant Director Todd Shackelford, who will provide an update. including our procurement methods. So with that, I'll turn it over to Todd.
Good evening, Chairman Moya, members of the board. The park CIP program is incredibly robust and includes the design and construction of new parks, renovations of our existing park facilities, upgrades to irrigation systems, lighting, and parking lots, along with many other capital improvement items such as the installation of playgrounds and ramadas, renovations to restrooms, and ADA improvements. Currently, our team is managing over 40 capital improvement projects across the city. The City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department consists of 189 total flatland parks, 33 community and recreation centers, 29 pools, over 41,000 acres of desert parks and mountain preserve land, with over 240 miles of designated mountain trails. The City of Phoenix uses the Play system, which is a specialized digital GIS-based software system that maps, tracks, and manages everything inside our city parks. Play is an acronym for Parks Land Asset Inventory. This system provides a comprehensive database of what assets the city owns, where they're located, and their condition. Condition is rated on a scale from 1 to 3 annually, 1 being in need of replacement and 3 being new or like new condition. Now that we've reviewed the rating system and how we identify needs within the department, I wanted to take a few minutes tonight to review the process of contracting our projects through the city engineer, through the office of the city engineer. Once major projects that require design and engineering are identified, a request for services submitted to the procurement team within the office of the city engineer. This request for service is the initial step in engaging and securing a contract for design and engineering services. Most major projects take 10 to 18 months to complete a full set of construction documents, including permits. The Parks Department typically completes major capital projects through 2 contract vehicles. The job order contract, known as a JOC, which is typically used for major projects up to $4 million. However, under rare circumstances, council approval can be sought to exceed that $4 million threshold. A construction manager at risk contract, or CMAR, does not have a maximum dollar amount, but does require project advertisement and city council approval. A CMAR project can be funded over multiple fiscal years and requires collaboration between the design firm and the selected contractor. The North Mountain Preserve project is a great example of a CMAR project. The project is currently in design, and council has approved the contractor to contract up to, but not to exceed, $30 million. What makes a CMAR unique is the selected contractor works alongside the design team during the design phase of the project. Doing so allows the contractor to assist in the design process by providing pre-construction input on items like current market trends and conditions, up to date lead times, assistance with value engineering, and consulting or guidance on a number of other market conditions. That said, we will move into completed projects. Parks and facility renovations that occurred through 24-25 fiscal year include Desert West Park. This project consisted of a complete LED lighting retrofit to all pathways, parking lots, and sport courts, as well as repainting of park amenities, drinking fountains, and ADA pathway repairs. The Maryville Community Center also underwent a complete LED lighting retrofit, restroom remodel, flooring, and several multi-purpose room improvements, including a new sound and PA system, dance floor, and room dividers. The new Levine Heritage Park, located at 71st Avenue and Meadows Loop, was constructed this past fiscal year, becoming our 189th park, rounding out the 3rd new park in the Levine area over the course of the last 3 years. This new 14-acre neighborhood park contains a multitude of amenities such as escape plaza, sport courts, expansive greenbelt, as well as ramadas and site furniture. Madison Park, located at 14th Street and Glen Rosa Avenue, received several non-traditional infrastructure improvements that were necessary for the safety of our visitors. Such improvements included parking lot resurfacing, ADA pathway improvements, minor electrical repairs, and numerous landscape improvements. Surrey Park, located in the Northwest Valley across the street from Chaparral Elementary School off 39th Avenue and Thunderbird, underwent a significant renovation. This entire park renovation included such items as a new playground, LED pathway lighting, new sport courts, and LED court lighting, new parking lot, and several landscape improvements. East Lake Park, the oldest park in Phoenix, located at 16th Street and Jefferson, just underwent a complete renovation of its pool, which reopened this past October. This project included new plaster and drains, ADA accommodations, multiple aquatic amenities, as well as renovations to the bathhouse, the parking lot, and new lighting. The pool is also heated, which enabled the department to offer swim lessons and fall programming during the months of October and November. Also, this intercity pool can now be used to train lifeguards in the off-season. LED lighting is a priority for the department. Therefore, to promote safety and energy conservation, multiple parks underwent an LED lighting upgrade, which included the replacement of damaged and aging poles with maintenance-free concrete aggregate poles and new state-of-the-art LED lighting fixtures. These lighting projects span numerous parks, including Francisco Highland, Harmon, Pecos, and Lindo, as you can see here in the photo. Moving into projects that are currently in design. Design has recently begun on Inspiration Mountain Park, which is a new 14-acre park in the Northwest Valley located near Inspiration Mountain Parkway and Molly Lane. Once completed, this park will have numerous amenities, including a pump track, parking lot, walking paths, playground, ramadas, and sport courts. The Parks and Recreation Department recently acquired 158 acres of Arizona State Trust land. This sits adjacent to an existing 10-acre parcel of property in North Phoenix at Stetson Hills Loop and Hackamore Drive, which is next to Sandra Day O'Connor High School. This site will be developed to provide access to the existing Dean Hills Trail system. A steering committee has been formed and will start working on concepts for the new trailhead this spring. Granada Park, located at 20th Street in Maryland, is also going through the design process. Renovations here will include updates to the irrigation system, LED pathway lighting, and ADA improvements. Christie Cove, a nearly 10-acre neighborhood park located near 24th Street in Shea, is also currently in design. The renovations at Christie Cove will include a new basketball court, new LED pathway lighting, sport court lighting, new playground, as well as ramadas and site furniture. I'm happy to announce construction is about to begin early this summer at Sweetwater Park, located at 44th Street in Cactus. This nearly 20-acre park will boast a new playground and restroom for the first time since the park's inception. Additional renovations include new LED sport field lighting and parking lot improvements. Hayden Park at 2nd Avenue and Broadway will undergo a renovation starting this spring. This project consists of new LED pathway lighting, sport court improvements, new parking lots, and repainting of all park amenities. The design is nearly complete and construction is expected to begin this summer on the USS Phoenix Cold War Monument located at Steele Indian School Park. The monument will honor the vital role of the U.S. Navy's attack submarine fleet during the Cold War and serve as an educational space that recognizes the service and sacrifice of submariners, sailors, civil servants, defense workers, and builders who contributed to the nation's security from 1946 to 1991. Lone Mountain Park will be a new 30-acre park on a 43-acre parcel in Northeast Phoenix located at 56th Street and Montgomery. This park will include numerous amenities, including a baseball diamond, multi-use sports field, a variety of courts, including pickleball and basketball, splash pad, restrooms, and a dog park. Also, a future phase of Lone Mountain Park will include a maintenance facility and yard in the southwest corner of the parcel. Construction is expected to begin in March. Projects currently under construction. Planned improvements at Santa Maria Park include a new skate plaza, ramada, chilled drinking fountain, picnic table, and benches, and I'm happy to announce construction began at Santa Maria Park this week. Hohi, a 1/3 acre pocket park, is currently under construction. New amenities will include a playground, ramada, site furniture, LED lighting, and chilled drinking fountain. Keepak, a nearly half-acre pocket park, is also under construction. Renovations include a basketball court, new LED lighting, chilled drinking fountain, as well as ramada and site furniture. Both Hohi and Keepak are scheduled for grand openings later this spring. Pierce, an 18-acre neighborhood park located near 46th Street in McDowell, is also under construction. Renovations include multiple sport courts such as basketball, volleyball, 6 new pickleball courts, as well as new LED sport court lighting. Sunray Park, located at 40th Street and Ray Road, is a nearly 18-acre neighborhood park that is currently undergoing multiple renovations. This project consists of new sport courts, LED court lighting, a new restroom, ADA and landscape improvements, and a new parking lot, as well as the installation of spectator seating for the baseball diamond as shown in the photo. This project is nearly complete with a tentative grand opening scheduled later this spring. And finally, our most exciting current construction project is the new South Mountain Activity Complex. This complex contains 8 new ramadas in total, 5 small ramadas, 2 large ramadas, and a grand pavilion style ramada, along with 4 restrooms. This site also has an ADA accessible path and multiple trailhead improvements. Moving into our GO bond projects, as a reminder, the Parks Department received $64 million in voter-approved GO bond funding to complete 10 projects across our park system. Maryvale Pool, located at 51st Avenue and Indian School, is in the beginning stages of the design phase and will be renovated into a state-of-the-art aquatic center, whereas Holiday Park Pool and Mary View Pool will be transformed into community splash pads. I'm pleased to announce that the design process is nearly complete on Telephone Pioneers of America Park, located at 19th Avenue and Morningside Drive, which will be receiving improvements to the rec center, including fire suppression and updated ADA restrooms. The design process is also nearly complete at the Mountain View Community Center Sports Complex near 7th Street and Grover's. This complex will be receiving 4 new pickleball courts and improvements to the 6 existing tennis courts. Both are scheduled to begin construction early this summer. Additionally, the design for the new 5,000 square foot recreation center to be built at Esteban Park, located at 32nd Street and Rozier, is nearly complete. This center will include a large assembly room, a game room with numerous activities such as pool tables, board games, and state-of-the-art video gaming. I'm also excited to announce that the study for phase 1 of Estrella Civic Space is now complete, and the design team is ready to begin. The initial phase of the 173-acre master plan will include soccer and softball fields, restrooms, a concession building, and fitness equipment. Margaret T. Hance and South Mountain Roadway are also in the initial design phase. The project at Hance Park will include a renovation to the plaza and several staircases at the Central Bridge, whereas the South Mountain Roadway project will include multiple improvements along the Tower Roadway, including the installation of additional safety pullouts and guardrails. And finally, the minor capital improvement project, which spans the entire city, touching multiple parks in every council district. A survey was completed where stakeholders could select amenities, repairs, and additions to parks within each district. These amenities included such items as benches, tables, fitness equipment, ramadas, and many other items. These projects are currently underway now. So within our CIP program, we have several projects with funding set aside for specific improvements, such as ADA improvements, parking lot maintenance, lighting and electrical repairs and improvements, drinking fountains, to name a few. And over the course of the last year, the team has repaired cracking and upheaving and separating sidewalks in 54 parks to promote ADA accessibility and safety. In total, 28 parks throughout the city were completely retrofitted with LED lighting. As you know, LED lighting is incredibly more energy efficient than prior technology. It lasts longer and can provide more coverage to promote safety during nighttime hours. Over 15 parking lots were crack filled, slurry sealed, and restriped. This process not only promotes accessibility and safe passage for pedestrians through each parking lot, it also extends the longevity of the asphalt. And finally, 18 parks had drinking fountains that were either repaired or replaced with chilled new fountains, depending on their condition. 3PI funded most of these, but we also received funding from the Office of Innovation in support of the city's chilled drinking fountain initiative. A few examples that we partnered with the Office of Innovation include Roosevelt, Desert West, Civic Space, Grant, and Lindo Park. So as you can see, major CIP projects span across the city, and it's important for us to ensure there's geographic coverage of our projects. This map here indicates parks that have had significant capital improvement over the course of the past fiscal year. Chairman Moira, members of the board, this now concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. That's quite an extensive list. Glad to see it. But before I open it up questions to my fellow board members, we do have someone online. We have Michael Morton.
I think I have unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Norton. Go right ahead. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'm here on behalf of the Rogers Ranch community. It's a 1 square mile community in Laveen. It was created in the 1990s by the Rogers Family Trust. It was the originator of the Laveen Area Conveyance Channel, the headwaters of the channel. Without it, the rest of the Southwest Valley would never have been created. For 30 years, the Rogers Ranch Park property has sat dormant. I've listened to some great stories today about the wonderful projects that have been completed, but we need to focus sharply on the fact that it takes 30 years to get a park built in Phoenix. The focus of the 5-year capital improvement project committee, the focus of the 10-year master plan committee should not be what will we do with the pittance of funds that we have remaining. It should be how do we generate enough funds to activate the dormant properties that we own. For 30 years, the Rogers Ranch property has been a blight on the community. 2013, Mayor Gallego ran for office. She stated then that if Phoenix was your next door neighbor, you had a bad neighbor. 13 years later, that remains the case. We need to focus on the critical funding issue, and we need to demand that our city take action to improve this timeline. I'm happy we have monarch butterfly parks, but we have burrowing owls in Rogers Ranch that have gone without any kind of protection. They're back. We won't get anything done until families have moved out of that community 30 years after it was originally created. Our original president of our board, Jerry Carlton, who appeared before this committee before, has died, and his family has left the community. That's what happens when we wait 30 years. Please focus this group, and please focus our report on the fundamental issue. We have a systemic problem that really must be created. It just doesn't affect Rogers Ranch. It happens all over the city.
Thank you very much. And now, any questions from the board? Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for the report, and that took some, that was a long distance run. So thank you very much. We have a lot of clarity about, it seems to me, the PLAI replacement system, but how are places prioritized for the development of a new park? The report says that there are 6 new parks. Since we had materials in the pack and I just heard from a member of the public, what is the process for deciding it's time to go ahead with a planned park? And in my time here, I remember quite a few, but the one I remember is Future Park, which I think also was a case, the whole community was calling it Future Park, and it took years and years before it was finally developed.
Chairman Moya, members, of the board and board woman Porter. The question, I believe, for Rogers Ranch is an undeveloped park located at 47th Avenue in Alta Vista, which I'm happy to say that is programmed in our CIP for the design. However, most new parks have a very large amount of impact fees to fund their construction. We've depleted the majority of those impact fees with the 3 projects that were just completed in the Levine area. So as impact fees come in from planning and development, that account fund raises, and then that's when we begin to start looking at when construction is. We do have funding in there in 28-29 to fund a design, but there's no funding yet, or not enough funding yet identified from impact fees.
So the impact fees are held for the specific parks that are in the vicinity of the development.
Yes, they are programmed for that specific
parks. And so the Rogers Ranch is an instance where there's enough money from impact fees now for the design process, but the city would wait, the Parks Department would wait for more impact fees to come in to actually build the park. Is that, do I have that right?
Chairman Moyer and members of the Parks Board and Board Member Porter. For Rogers Ranch, like Todd mentioned, we do have money in the out years that we allotted with 3PI funding. We have a total of $1.5 million from fiscal year 28-29 through fiscal year 30-31. So we do have plans for a design and then ultimate construction.
Oh, so there is funding for construction down the road.
Board Member Porter, $1.5 million, correct.
Okay. And then, but that may not be sufficient. So there might be a need for more impact fees to accrue before the park could be completed. I just want to make sure I have it right.
That is
correct. And so this is kind of consistent with the idea that we see in lots of urban development in this area, that growth pays for growth to some extent. Is that right? We expect the development to kind of pay for, at least in part, for some of the amenities that will be needed in new parts of town.
Yes, Chairman Moya, members of the board, Board Member Porter, that is correct. The community, as developers build and the community grows, those impact fees get funded in. A large portion, the reasoning of putting the design in 27-28 is there is some forecasting, although it's unknown how much exactly comes in from impact fees. But by the time we get to that point, that fund will continue to grow. I will state that on average, the 3 Levine parks, Farmland, Levine Heritage, and Harvest, were $4 million each.
Mm-hmm.
So as Director Whitfield mentioned, there's 1.5 in there now, but that needs to continue to grow.
And just to make sure I have it right, I would expect that if a place doesn't develop very fast, it will take longer for the impact fees to accrue for that park to develop. And so where we have instances we know of where it took a long time for a park that people envision to actually be completed, one of the factors may be that it took a long time for that area to develop enough for enough impact fees to accrue. Is that about right?
You are correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for those questions. Very enlightening. Any other questions? Go right ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. So it's more of an encouragement as for the materials and the design of the parks, and thinking about parks in a different way, thinking about parks in being in a desert area and how we can reduce the heat by reducing the amount of asphalt, or for those that are already with asphalt, making sure we have the cool pavement to it. And then in addition to that, when we are looking at the new designs, looking at those new designs with the reality of where we are in terms of reducing the grass component, the turf, as well as increasing the tree canopy, increasing the desert landscape. So it may not be like a green park where you can just run from one area, but a desert park where you can run from one area to another. I just really encouraging you to think of parks in a different way. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Again, thank you for that presentation. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just two quick questions. I was thinking about the funding of parks just generally over my 40 years here. And when I first arrived, the only way you funded parks was through general obligation bonds. And then a couple of years after I got here, impact fees came, and that was viewed as a way to help solve for that. And also, as you said, help make growth pay for itself. And then we got the big thing, which is the Parks and Preserve Initiative, which created a funding source both for the preserve and also for preserve acquisition and maintenance improvements, et cetera, but also to kind of fill a gap that we didn't have enough. And I forgot now, how long does that go on till?
Chairman Moyer and members of the Parks Board, board member Naymark, that is through 2038.
Okay, we got to start thinking about renewing it. And now, as I look at your funding stream, I mean, that is, bonds are only like a little over 10% of your overall CIP. So that's a really, really important source, and how we use it is really important. Anyway, where I really wanted to talk about was the bonds, because I sat on the bond committee, and I'm happy that we got 35 million-ish for parks programs. Because that's not sort of an ongoing funding source, the goal is that you get your projects done so that when you're ready to come back to the next bond program, which is going to start up in the next year or so, that you don't have a backlog of projects that never got done. And when you go ask for money, people will say, well, you aren't even done with the projects you asked for before. So how's that going in terms of making sure that you have all of your projects underway? And then secondly, I can't remember now how much or how little the city engineer is in the Parks Department's world of managing projects, or are you still all managing them internally yourself?
Chairman Moyer and members of the Parks Board, board member Naymark, I'll take the first one, and I'll take the second question. $64 million we were awarded for our 10 Go Bond projects, and I will say right now that we are ahead of most of our fellow departments in our projects, right? So I presented on those this evening. I think 8 of the 10 projects have started already, so we will be ready for this next Go Bond process, which is starting later this year. So we've already been talking internally about what did not get into the bond project program last time, and then also working with maybe some of our nonprofits as well. So,
Chairman Moya, members of the board, board member Naymark, to answer your question, we work closely with the Office of the City Engineer, who has a team of VPMs, vertical project managers. Their role is to manage more of the administration of the project, making sure the contractors get paid, the contracts are executed correctly. In Parks Development, I oversee a team of project managers that manage more of the day-to-day construction activity of the project. So they're in the field, weekly, if not daily, visiting the sites and pushing the project along. I will piggyback on Director Whitfield's comments about 8 of the 10 projects. We are in a wonderful position right now with our current Go Bond projects. There is a lot of pressure to start looking ahead and considering new projects. The 2 projects that were slated to start next fiscal year, I was just granted permission to move those into this fiscal year. So we'll actually be starting the study and design process for Desert View Civic Space and the Harmon Pool project early, if you will. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. And thanks for correcting my number. I realized what I was reading is in this 5-year CIP, it's about 10%, but 64 million is a better number than 35 for sure.
Great. Again, thank you very much. Now we'll go on to item 5. We have call to the public. We welcome citizen input. However, items brought to the board's attention cannot be discussed unless they are listed as an agenda item. Action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to requesting staff to study the matter or rescheduling the matter for further consideration or decision at a later date. We do have one person in the audience. We have Ron Rodell. As you make your way up, Mr. Rodell, you do have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Is the mic on? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Chairman Moya and board members. My name is Ron Rodell. I live on Palm Lane, direct on the north side of the Coronado Park. Lived there for 21 years. And I just wanted to bring to the board's attention that in spite of the magnificent improvements recently made to the park, including LED lighting, new bathroom, new tennis courts, new landscaping, it's still a park with some issues that are growing that are certainly not known by the other members or residents of the Coronado historic neighborhood because they don't live on the boundary of the park. And I think some of the problems are related to how the park is constructed and administered. The park has no gates or fences or anything. All 4 sides are open. And the park's open from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is lengthy. And so what's started to happen and is a growing problem is that more and more folks are showing up and violating various elements of the codes of conduct. And it's a growing problem. And what I want to mention is that, like, at 30 seconds, I'm delighted that the park rangers have a tiered way of approaching with education and then trespass notices and finally citations. But I don't think the park rangers are coming to our park often enough. And I think they spend their time at some of the more busier, more troubled parks. But I would like to see more park rangers coming more frequently to this park. And that concludes my talk.
Perfect timing. Thank you very much, sir. Now on the phone, the first one we have Jeremy Schachter.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Jeremy, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Jeremy Schachter, and I am a Willow Historic neighbor since 2009. And I'm also on the Willow board. Last month, we unfortunately lost our president, Brad Brower, unexpectedly at 61 years old. And Brad was a key figure in our neighborhood, was president several times, vice president, and basically was the heart of Willow. We have a park on 3rd Avenue and Monta Vista called Walton Park, and the board wants to rename the park in memory of Brad Brower, calling it Brower Park. So I didn't know what the first steps were to get approval for this, but we have full board support. And I was tasked to ask board members and the chair today on what that process is or at a later time. But the Willow neighborhood maintains the park. So we pay for the water, the landscaping, everything like that. The city owns the land. So that is what I wanted to propose or find out what the next steps are to name it in Brad Brower's memory.
Sir, thank you. We could have city staff reach to you, but one of the first requirements I do know is that the individual has to have been passed away for 5 years before considering naming a park in their name, but we do have your contact information and we'll have city staff reach out to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next, we have Michael Martin. Mr. Martin?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. My name is Michael Martin, and I am here as the father of a child with neurodevelopmental and intellectual disabilities. Down syndrome remains the most common genetic cause of intellectual disability, and autism now affects approximately 1 in 31 children in the United States. These are not rare circumstances. These are families throughout our community. For us, park design is not an aesthetic issue, it is a safety issue. Many children within the neurodevelopmental disabilities are prone to elopement, meaning they may leave a safe space without warning. This can happen because of sensory overload, impulsivity, difficulty understanding danger, or a strong pull towards something of interest. When that happens, seconds determine outcomes. The exterior wall that was removed at Telephone Pioneers Park functioned as a critical safety safeguard. It allowed children some independence while giving parents confidence that they were protected from immediate hazards, especially traffic. The park sits adjacent to Morningside Drive, a heavily traveled roadway where vehicles, including emergency responders, often move quickly. Without a secure perimeter, a child who elopes could reach traffic within seconds before a caregiver has time to intervene. For families like mine, this is not hypothetical. It is a foreseeable and preventable risk. I support accessibility and improvements, but accessibility must also mean safety. Removing a perimeter barrier without an equivalent safety solution disproportionately impacts families who rely on environmental safeguards to protect their children. I respectfully ask the board to clarify how perimeter safety will be redesigned or replaced, provide a timeline for those protections.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, thank you. Redesigned or replaced, provide a timeline for those protections, and engage directly with disability advocates and families in finalizing the design. I'll close with this. A park cannot be considered accessible if it is not also safe. I thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have the board chairman's report. That would be me. Lunar New Year event at Deer Valley Community Center. Before I start, I'm sorry. I want to personally thank all my fellow board members for being here in person. This hasn't happened in a long time. We all get to know each other because we're round of applause to ourselves. I think that's great. Someone take a picture or something. We're all here. I think it's great. Thank you all. I greatly appreciate every one of you. Lunar New Year event at Deer Valley Community Center, 2001 West Walhalla Lane. Celebrate Lunar Year and welcome the Year of the Horse at the Deer Valley Community Center on February 28th, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a free family-friendly community celebration. Guests of all ages are invited to enjoy an evening filled with cultural traditions and festive activities, including a special lantern lighting ceremony. The event will feature hands-on activities such as calligraphy, creating red envelopes. I want a red envelope, if you know what that is. And adding your hopes for the year ahead to the wishing tree. Attendee can also enjoy lively food and opportunities to win fun prizes throughout the evening, entertainment, delicious food. Bring your family in the Lunar New Community setting and friends to ring in the new year together in a vibrant and welcoming environment. Then we have the 2026 M3F Festival at 300 East Indian School Road. Celebrate the return of the 2026 M3F Festival at Still Indian School Park with 2 days of music. Art community will fill the heart of Phoenix. The festival takes place Friday and Saturday, March 6th and 7th. Gates will open at 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. I can hear that from my house. This ticketed event brings world-class performances, immersive art installations, and elevated production across multiple stages, creating an experience built around movement, connection, and sound. With an expected attendance of 15,000, M3F continues its tradition of being music, community impact, and vibrant outdoor setting. Additional events and detailed tickets are available at m3ffest.com. That's all I have. Now I'll open up to my fellow board members if they have any comments or requests. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you. I have every confidence that our fabulous park staff is going to step up, looking into what's going on in Coronado Park. But I would really appreciate an update in an upcoming board meeting. We did get a chronology of what ours, I think it was the same person who spoke, observed, and it'd be good to catch it early before things get more problematic in that park. And I'm sure that's the intention of the department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? No, thank you. Marty, it's all yours.
Chairman Moya and members of the Parks Board, we do have several updates this evening from our executive team. So we will start with Interim Assistant Director Todd Shackelford.
All right, Chairman Moya, members of the board, I'll be a little more brief this time. So on February 21st and 22nd, Steel Indian School Park hosted the annual Matsuri, a festival of Japan, which is a free 2-day celebration showcasing Japanese culture, arts, and traditions. The festival featured martial arts and cultural demonstrations, traditional dance and musical performances, arts and crafts, a tea ceremony, exhibits highlighting Japanese history and heritage. Presented by Arizona Matsuri in partnership with several local cultural organizations, the event drew an estimated attendance of more than 25,000 people, making it a vibrant and engaging celebration of community and cultural exchange. On February 21st, the Buff Community Center hosted its first youth pickleball tournament, offering fun and competitive experience for players ages 8 to 12 and 13 to 17. 8 teams participated in each division, and the top 3 teams in both age groups earned prizes and awards. The event marked an exciting milestone for the center as it continues expanding youth recreation opportunities and introducing more young athletes to the growing sport of pickleball. The City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department is launching its 2026 lifeguard recruitment season and plans to hire more than 200 lifeguards for summer pool operations. This is a great opportunity for young people to earn money, build leadership skills, and contribute to their city community in a fun outdoor team environment. The city's offering major hiring incentives this year, including bonuses for swim instructors, lifeguards, and cashiers. Certification classes are available now for $20, and applicants should complete certification by mid-March to be eligible for interviews. Interested candidates can learn more and register at Phoenix.gov/lifeguard.
Thank you, Todd. On Monday, February 2nd, the ribbon cutting was hosted by our Northeast Division team to celebrate the newly upgraded Dynamite Park. The event highlighted several key improvements, including a new playground, 2 chill drinking fountains, as well as a freshly repainted Ramada. It was a meaningful moment that underscored the city's commitment to providing high-quality, welcoming parks for all residents to enjoy. Last Saturday, the 30th Annual National Trail Trek took place at South Mountain Park and Preserve, celebrating the 15.5-mile national trail that runs from Pima Canyon to the San Juan Lookout. Approximately 350 participants completed the Cross Mountain hike, experiencing Sonoran desert plants and wildlife, spending about between 5 and 6 hours on the trail. The event was supported by 17 park steward volunteers, as well as Parks and Recreation staff. To the lower right, you can see a nice trail map that shows the 1,150 feet of elevation change that the hikers faced during this event. Also in February, the South Mountain Community Center continued to offer their twice-weekly karate classes, providing youth and adult participants a supportive environment to build strength, confidence, focus, and discipline while learning practical self-defense skills.
Chairman Moyer and members of the Parks Board, obviously you can attribute the attendance on the Parks Board to the new Parks Director. It's a little joke. On February 16th, the City of Phoenix proudly hosted the Survivor 50 Challenge at South Mountain Park and Preserve, where more than 1,000 fans gathered to celebrate the show's milestone season in one of the nation's largest municipal parks. Phoenix was selected as Arizona's official location, with clues guiding participants to the ADA accessible Judith Tunnel Trail, underscoring the city's commitment to inclusive outdoor recreation. Fans arrived before sunrise to see the iconic Immunity Idol and enter for a chance to attend the Survivors 50 Live final. Overall, the event brought people together, celebrated Phoenix's stunning desert landscape, and reinforced the city's leadership in accessibility and outdoor adventure. We've heard from him already a couple times, but I wanted to officially welcome Todd Shackelford as our new interim assistant director into our executive team. Todd's been with the City of Phoenix since 2018. Recently, he's been the Parks Development Deputy Director since February of 2022, managing our 5-year CIP plan and, like you mentioned earlier, our Go Bond projects. Todd, in his new role, will manage our Special Operations Division, Northwest and Downtown divisions, and of course, Keep Parks Development. That concludes our presentation for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome, Todd. You made quite an impression at your first meeting. You have to live up to that now. But before I officially adjourn, I do want to thank staff and everyone for getting all of us ready and for making me sound somewhat intelligent up here. I greatly appreciate all the help. And this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.